Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our virtual Wednesday. As we have 7 weeks left of these virtual Wednesdays, today is going to serve as a good prelude into what we're going to be discussing tomorrow, Thursday, in class. As we continue our focus on colonization and the original geographic locations of the British 13 colonies. We will look into the regionalization of those colonies. But we're really going to start with how we got here. And when I say we, I'm referring to the British people who eventually become Americans, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are all immigrants of some sort. And the original immigrants that settled the 13 colonies of Great Britain, which have eventually become the United States 13 colonies, okay? We're going to talk about how they got here, okay? Because that's how really our story as Americans start, is with the British's settlement into North America, okay? So this will serve as a prelude. Tomorrow, you will come in and do a bell work that you will see on here. We're not going to do it now because we're going to do it when you come into class tomorrow. And there will also be a pretest, okay? I'm not going to tell you what that pretest is. It is not going to hurt or help your grade. But let's just say I'm going to ask you to have knowledge of 13 particular things. Hint, hint. But without further ado, here we go. So this will be the warm-up you do tomorrow. I'm going to skip over that because we're going to do it in class tomorrow on our Chromebooks on a Google Doc that you will submit. We will share. We will think, pair, share it like we typically do with BellWorks. So let's talk about it. How did we get here? Earliest settlers came seeking wealth. Okay, remember, we are settling from Great Britain. Okay, King George III and Great Britain have control of the 13 colonies. Okay, so they came for wealth because this is an untapped land, tons of opportunity. This is a get-rich-quick scheme to some people. And they knew there was unsettled land for development where they could farm, which we refer to as agriculture, or they could start up in the mining industry, okay, which was really bringing in big time money. Okay, they were mining tons of natural minerals, etc. All right, fishing, fur, hunting and gathering, you name it. Trade with the Native Americans. Okay, the triangular trade route was going to start functioning very quickly between North America, Africa, and Europe. So the opportunity to get rich quick and start this new life for your family for generations to come was very appealing to a lot of people, okay? But the biggest and largest wave came from those who were seeking religious freedom, all right? At this time, King George III had just went through, we'll call it a breakup for a lack of a better term, with the Catholic Church, and specifically the Protestant Catholics, and they wanted a way to practice their religion freely. So what does King George do? Smart man himself. He produces this as a win-win situation. He says, you know what? If you want to practice this free religion, go settle the 13 colonies in North America. You can practice whatever religion you want or not practice one at all. Okay? So what that does then is it eliminates the tensions in Great Britain, and it also gives settlements in North America. He starts populating North America. He starts creating some infrastructure in North America. All right, and North America this time is known as the New World, and it's between them, the French and the Spanish, to really take control of it. Those are the three European rivals at the time, and they are all competing to have control and become that next powerful nation. Okay, so that win-win would create lack of religious tension, and it gets people settling Western lands for King George and Britain. Okay, and that will be very important to understand that rivalry specifically between the French and the British as we move forward. Okay, because that's going to lead to our really first big conflict in North America that we will discuss hopefully next week. Okay, this is a video that we will watch tomorrow. Okay, I know we all love our rap music. Okay, I'm quite the rapper myself. You guys know that. All right, I got bars for days, but that'll be a very good, fun intro as you walk into the class tomorrow. This will be playing. Okay, so if you see me head bobbing and rapping, you know why. It's because I'm excited because we get to rap about the 13 colonies. So this is a quick map to show you what I was just talking about. Okay, where my mouse is along the east coast by the Atlantic Ocean are where the 13 colonies are located. Okay, that is the British control spot. In the interior, you can see the French have the large amount of control. Okay, and specifically, the area of concern is going to become right down here where Ohio is today, southeast of Michigan. Okay, we know here in Gibraltar, we're right about here where my mouth is. Okay, the Ohio River Valley is about here, and it butts right up to Great Britain's controlled colonies, and King George III thinks that's their valley. But Napoleon and the French think that's theirs. So you have two powerful countries thinking that one specific territory is theirs, which means there's going to be some fighting. Okay, and that is a ding, ding, ding foreshadow into what we're going to focus on in our unit, hopefully next week, midweek. Okay. You have the Spanish down here to the southwest. They're a little bit calmer right now. There's not going to be as much conflict with the Spanish yet. Okay, they're down by where Texas would be, Mexico, New Mexico, and then you have this unexplored territory to the west that Lewis and Clark in a few units from now will tell us all about. Okay, so that gives you a good idea of what we're looking at as far as geographically with who controls what. Okay, again, I told you pre-test tomorrow. Do not get scared though. It will not hurt or help your grade. It is just a good measuring stick for where we're at as far as our knowledge on a specific 13 deals. But I want to break it up regionally because we're going to talk about this in our discussion post today that we will have as part of our e-learning assignment. So we're going to start with the New England colonies, which are comprised of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Okay. Fact one, geography-wise, the geography of New England consisted of mountains thick with trees, rivers, and poor rocky soil that was difficult to farm and unsuitable for agriculture. So they can't farm there, so they resulted in relying on things like fishing, whaling, forestry, where they'd cut down and sell timber and ship timber. And then they would import the agricultural products. So they did a lot of trading with the middle colonies in the south, all right, and they would send fish, and that's what they relied on. However, in this New England territory, it was Puritan dominated, so there was not much religious freedom. Okay, they relied really on just practicing the Puritan religion. That was the only of the three regions that was like that. It is by far the coldest of the three regions, which led to difficult winters but less disease. Okay, so those are our New England colonies. Okay, this information will be helpful on our discussion post plus our three wrap-up questions for today that you will submit for your participation grade. Middle colonies, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Okay. The geography and climate of the middle colonies was a mix of New England and the southern ones, which we'll talk about, meaning it was pretty neutral, nice warm summers, not terrible winters. So they meant they had good farmland. So they had the best of both worlds. Not only did they farm, but they also still were in the timber business, and they also did the mining and fur trade. So they had a lot of opportunity to get rich in the middle colonies. Religion-wise, it was not dominated by a specific religion, but we saw a lot of Quakers, Catholics, Lutherans, Jews, and others. Okay, so a lot of religious freedom in the middle colonies, a lot of great opportunity for wealth, mining, farming, fishing, even timber, etc. Southern colonies, we have Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Geography-wise, it was hilly with coastal plains with plenty of forest. It was very, very warm. The South relies on farming, okay, and this is where we'll see those big plantations develop, where the rise of slavery happens. Okay, the rise of slavery happens in the South primarily because they have these large plantations, and with slaves, they don't have to pay their workers, which means they can get a ton of free labor, and these plantation owners can make more money. Okay, natural resources wise, they grew lots of cotton, tobacco, rice, sugarcane, and indigo. Indigo is a purple dye. Religion-wise, again, it's like the middle colonies, not dominated by a specific religion, which gave way to a religious freedom for Baptists, Anglicans, and others. And again, like I had stated before, the climate was the warmest of the three regions. Winters were not difficult to survive. Warmer climate gave rise to the spread of disease. All right, so again, this is a quick little presentation, okay? This strictly serves as a prelude into what we're going to get in Thursday and Friday in class. However, this is going to be very important because you know on our e-learning days it's important for participation, and to track that, I have 3 questions that you will download on a Google Doc from our Google Classroom. Okay, they will revolve around these 3 regions. You're going to have to tell me and explain to me something, and you'll see it when you open up the doc, about these 3 regions. Use these notes to answer that in paragraph format. I want a minimum of 5 sentences for each question given in your response for participation, which means you'll have 15 minimum sentences. Okay, we should be able to knock that out in 10 to 15 minutes. Remember, we're spending 30 to 35 minutes per class on our Wednesday e-learning. Okay, and then you will wrap it up with a discussion post, or again, you will state some facts you learned today about the regions, and you will discuss that within your small groups, which are again predetermined in our Google Classroom. You guys are familiar with that. Okay, So with that being said, your next step should now be going into Google Classroom, making a copy of that Google Doc with our 3 questions, and then entering the discussion on Canvas within your discussion groups. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow where we'll get to do some rapping. See you guys.